episode 23. Rose, so good to see you, man.
Good to see you, Chris.
Man, welcome to the lounge, man. Thank you for joining us today, man.
Thank you.
I mean, if you're in Sacramento, if you're in Northern California, you know about Roco Wine and Spirits. It's kind of like letting Rene know a little bit the journey, how I first met you. I bought my first ever house I bought in West Sacramento. Back then, I was a pretty big beer drinker. I don't really drink much beer anymore. But if you wanted like the best specialty beer, everyone knew you go to Roco to see Ro. So I met Ro. Are you still living in West Sac?
Yeah, I'm still in West Sac.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
One kid or two?
Two kids.
Two.
Two kids now.
How old are they now?
6 years and 2 year old.
Nice.
Both boys, yeah.
Nice. So, yeah, it's funny how this podcast has evolved because the brainchild of the Legacy Lounge was Rene and I wanted to have a platform where we bring on special people in the community, people that are giving back to the community, building legacies, entrepreneurs, sports athletes. And what it's morphed into, which we're very happy about, is it's morphed into we've had some really badass tequila makers that are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And we were talking before this podcast kicked off, but our homie Jake Lustig, who's just an incredible dude, wealth of information, had him on. He was praising your name. And then Melanie Shelby. So you carry both of their tequilas at your store. I went to your store about, I don't know, two weeks ago just to kind of restock up on some tequila as I buy them for gifts. And I was just, but when I went the first time about a month ago after Jake was on the show, I was blown away, man, because I hadn't been in your store in a minute.
Yeah.
And it's like, for those listening to this, you walk into Roco Wine and Spirits, like, there's not a lot of like walkway. I mean, it's that jam packed with bottles. It's insane.
Let's
so
go.
So yeah, we're looking forward to this hearing the journey, the backstory. So why don't you just kind of talk to us about how it all started, what it was when it started to where it is right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on here, guys. See, as my parents, like, we're immigrants to this country, right? And I moved over here in 1998. I was born in India, and I moved in 1998. My dad was already here. I actually was born in 86 and came over here in 88. My dad didn't like it. We moved back to India.
Wow.
And then, like, I stayed there for 10 years, and then I came back over here in 98. And my dad was already here, like, a year before us. And in 2000, we bought our first liquor store. So then, I was always, my dad will pick me up from school and take me to the liquor store, and I'm there stocking, and he'll give me $5 to stock the cooler. And I just kind of learned the business from there. And then I went off to college, got my degree in finance and got my software engineering degree. And then I took off to Bay Area to work for some tech companies. And then always my dad needed my help. Speaking of legacy, in Indian culture, that's huge. Like that, hey, you got you got a son. He's going to take over this business. So my dad always kind of relied on that. Hey, you're going to come in and help me. You're going to help me run this. You're going to help me take this to the next level. So I would always, come back home and work there on the weekends. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and open my own store up. And then from there, we just kind of started opening up a few more stores. And then we finally opened up Roco in West Sacramento. And it was kind of an interesting time because you're getting out of that whole real estate crash in 2006, 2008 timeframe. And then here we are opening up Roco. And then Instagram was very popular. Instagram was just taking off at that point. And I was personally using it. And then literally just went on I was like, why don't I open up an Instagram and a Facebook account for my shop? And from there, it just kind of took off like wildfire. Everybody's like, hey, can you get me Delirium Tremens? It was just a Belgian craft beer.
Yeah.
And a guy just walked into my store on like the second day. He's like, can you get me this craft beer? I'm like, sure. And I never heard of Delirium Tremens before and never seen a craft beer bottle that cost $10. And I was in a retailer for $12.99. I'm like, there's people that buy it because I'm coming from this whole liquor store. We own liquor stores in Stockton Boulevard, Sunrise, all these places. And we're selling these Sparks and Steel Reserves. At that point, they were like 99 cents.
Steel Reserve. Let's go.
Oh, there's people that are drinking Delirium Tremens now. There's people like that. And then so I was like, all right, let me just take a picture of this and post it. And here it comes okay, I'm selling these cases out right away. I'm all right, what other Belgian beers are out there? So next week, I'm all right, give me 2 more cases of different Belgian beers. And just started from there, started posting these pictures, and people started telling their friends and just kind of kept on going viral. and then that's it. And that's where and the craft beer boom was happening. All these breweries were opening up around Sacramento.
Yes.
And we started carrying local beers. And at a time, I literally, I quit my job in that tech world and I just came back home and I'm just doing the store. I'm just taking off Roco in 2010 to 2012.
Wow.
And then, and that's it. That's all I kind of focused on. And then I would just drive around to different breweries all over California, Oregon, and drive there and go get the beer. And it was like the whole race of like, hey, how do you become the first ones, right?
Dang.
At that point, I think it was just Capital Tap Room, Final Gravity, and Pangea. And Pangea, Rob Archie was like the first guy who started this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I would just kind of look up to these guys and see what they're doing and what kind of beers they're getting and get those ideas from them. And they're very helpful. And you reach out to these guys, they're like, all right, dude, go get this beer. This what's it called? Alvarado Street Brewery in Monterey. These guys are going to take off, right? And you need to get over there, but they won't ship to you. You got to go pick it up. I'm all right. Every Monday, I would drive to Monterey to go pick up their beers and bring it back. Yeah.
So basically, what I'm hearing out of you so far is you just got that spirit of a hustler.
Yeah, it's you got to have that, right? Like that's the thing is you got to have that spirit of a hustler and like consistency. That was one of the biggest thing that like as I reflect back, I think it's the consistency. A lot of times, like people ask me for what we built up to now. Is they're like, what's the success? They're like other liquor stores, other bottle shops, other people in this booze industry. They're all got the same product. There's nothing different about it. But what makes you special? It's consistency. Because if you look at the Instagram for similar places like mine, they're posting once every week or maybe twice a month, 3 times a month. No matter how much I hate social media certain days, I make sure that it's for the business. I have to make at least 2 to 3 posts a day.
Yeah.
So we keep it consistent, we keep it lively, we keep it going, and you got to keep up with the trends. And I think consistency is the biggest thing that got us to where we're at today.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you're a fun follow, man. Like, there's always something going on over there. Matter of
Dangerous
fact,
follow.
Dangerous follow for sure. Expensive follow, dangerous. I mean, a little bit of jealous of this 5-second thing that you got going on. People come in, they got 5 seconds to pick their bottle of choice, and you can see the panic on their face.
Yeah.
Oh man, how'd you come up with that, man?
So, like same thing, like, one of the biggest things that right now, this industry in the retail sector, you're seeing an economic downturn. And then, we had to go back and change our mission up a little bit is that we have the following. We know all these people that come and shop with us, but drastically the numbers have come down this year. So what's our goal now is engagement. Let's just come up with fun ways to do engagement. And I love to give people credit on it. Like, and it's not like I came up with this idea. There's a store out in Midwest, Southern Spirits. And, that's what I did is like on Instagram, I'm looking at all these guys, my peers that are doing something good in the industry. And I go out there and trying to learn from them. I just message them. I simply just message them. I'm like, hey guys, I love what you guys are doing. And can you teach me about it? And they'll literally just go. And a lot of times, if you don't ask, you don't get it.
For sure.
And if you ask these people, they're very willing to share it because it's nothing like that. It's something that can't be copied. But if you could get a copy with their blessings, it just makes it 10 times better. So, I just go out there and like people that are doing some good things, I start following them and start learning from them. And then I got the idea from them and I hit them up. I'm like, dude, what are things that I need to know?
Yeah.
How do I select people, who it is, who comes and participate in it? And what are the downfalls on it? And they literally told me, pick the people that are your regular customers that support you all the time, make them happy, and then slowly people will start engaging with you again. And then the other big thing that told us, they're like, hey, there are people, they just kind of sometimes they're assholes.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, make sure you're recording it so that they can know that they did not grab the Pappy Van because they grabbed the El Martini. Because they might be like, oh no, I touched the Pappy, so give me the Pappy now. So they're like, no, it's the bottle that you're holding in your hand. So that's it.
So that thing that you're doing, you picked the people that are kind of some of your best customers.
Yeah, so that's another thing is like, customer engagement. And like one of the biggest things that I learned in the whiskey world is there's a lot of allocated whiskey and I'm not going to get a lot of it. And then the other big challenge is these prices are ridiculous. Like for example, Pappy Van Winkle, a 10-year-old cost me like $37 or something, my cost, but it sells for $1,000 to $1,500 on a secondary. And you can't get your hands on it. And it's like one of the milestones that you got to go out there and get it.
Yeah.
So like a Pappy 23, I think my cost is like somewhere like $200.
Yeah.
And that sells for, during COVID, I sold a bottle to somebody for $6,500.
Oh my
Lord.
God, are you serious?
Yeah. So these
and
bottles.
This is probably something that you're not going to say on the podcast. Maybe you will, but from what I've heard, is there's a lot of other whiskeys that are out there without the Pappy label that are just as good, if not
Oh yeah,
better.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Like, like people ask me all the time, like if I didn't own the shop and I had access to these bottles, would I go out there buy these bottles? No, I would never. I would never. I know too much, and I'm like, hey, you give me $100, I can walk out of my store with like 3 or 4 bottles with a tequila in it and be happy.
Yeah.
And I'll get like good whiskey. And if
Yeah.
I blind tasted you, you won't be able to pick it out. Now, Pappy's, they do have that, like, it's a status, right?
Yes.
It's a status, it's a milestone. Now, there are some good whiskey, like the Pappy 15 is freaking phenomenal whiskey, and the 13-year-old is amazing. The 23 in America, I think it just gets too old to age whiskeys past 20 years. It just tastes very oaky. But, it becomes more of a status symbol at that point.
Yep.
not as much of a bite, I would imagine.
Yeah, not as, it's just not a smooth sipping. You're literally
Yeah.
just over here like I'm literally just tasting tobacco and freaking oak, like you just lick the barrel,
Yeah.
So, but like the 15-year-old is actually very phenomenal. Like, like you drink that and then you're like, oh my God, this is good. But that's where it kind of started is like, there's a lot of times like, I tell people like, as I age, there's no right way or wrong way. You walk into a liquor store down the street, they will have the Pappy bottle sitting there and it'll be a $5,000 bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
$2,500 to $5,000 bottle. And then people go online and they'll bash this store because, why are you selling at this price? One thing is people got to come to reality that that's just the price now.
Exactly.
Now I had to figure out a creative way to sell these things. And that's where, I tried different things. Like I tried the brown bags. Horrible idea, but great for me. But customers had very horrible odds. But, and then same thing like now, 5-second game. I'll put the bottles of Pappy, and I got like about 200 bottles in there. You got 5 seconds. If you grab the bottle of Pappy, you grab the bottle of Pappy, and you get it at a fair price.
I don't think I'd want to play that game. It would just give me too much anxiety.
You only got 5 seconds.
Well, everything,
anxiety.
what's the buy-in for the customer?
It's not a buy-in. So what I do is it's the people that have been supporting me. Like I have a club called Roco Insider. That's by invite only. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to pay any membership fees. It's just people that have just been there and they just
That's
support
awesome,
you.
man.
They're just building that relationship.
Yeah.
And then I have a paid club membership that I do quarterly. It's called Allocation Nation. And where I give them 4 bottles, you're paying $115 to be a member there. And then out of that, we promise them that, hey, in a whole year, you guys will be in the 5-second game. So I picked 10.
Is this whiskey only?
Whiskey only.
Got it.
I had a tequila one during COVID when we started. When COVID started, we had a tequila club, but the tequila club was much better than the mezcal club. Mezcal club was very slow, but now is about a time that we can bring the tequila club back again. So I do have another thing that we started was the River City Whiskey Society.
Yes.
So the River City Whiskey Society, we started back in 2016. And the whole idea was we go to different restaurants in downtown Sacramento and try different whiskeys every month. That has taken off like a wildfire. Like every month we get about 40 to 50 people that come out to dinner, and it's a paid ticketed event, and they come out and we take it to different restaurants.
Dude, that sounds dope.
Yeah, and it's a great meal. We went from $50 to now $130 a freaking ticket, but you're going out there, you're getting a 4-course, 5-course meal from Michelin Guide restaurants. We go to Cannon, we go to Camden, we go to Hook and Ladder, we go to Daniello's in Roseville. We're all over the place, So that's what we're kind of doing is like bringing that money into the Sacramento economy. Like just the dinner that we did, Penelope, that was $16,000 that we added into Sacramento's economy for that day alone.
That's incredible.
We had an ambassador fly in from Kentucky to come in and present just for one day. And they came in and presented. We sold tickets. Then at the restaurant, we go out there and do a bar spend. Everybody's hanging out, drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
And then they also buy bottles from me. And then that's it. So it's about an average about 10 to 16,000 that we're bringing into that economy in every month with those dinners.
Is that group that you're talking about, is that the one that's invite only?
No. River City Whiskey Society is open to everybody.
Got it.
That's open to everybody. I was a founder and one of the founders, and now a current admin. We got about 4,000 people on that group in Facebook, and then on Instagram it's growing. But every month we meet and we do everybody individually does bottle shares, but then we meet for these dinners. The restaurant will bring in the bottles, and then we're going out there doing a whole pairing.
Yeah.
We'll invite and brand ambassadors, and then similar thing that we launched was Two Rivers Agave Club. So Two Rivers Agave Club is much smaller, 600 people, and every year I kick it off, and it's just been like, okay, we do tequila dinner sellout. the mezcal dinners kind of fall off. Like mezcal's like about 10, 15 people show up.
Yeah.
Tequila will have like 20 to 40 people show up.
You
And
said
we actually
600.
600 members in that club
Members.
right now.
How many members are in the River City Club?
4,000.
4,000.
Oh my God! And is this just Sacramento?
Just Sacramento. Just
Damn,
Sacramento.
are you the one that headed this whole thing?
I founded it, but now we have a lot of good admins, and those admins are just picked based on like people that are engaged in there and the people that actually like it. You know,
Yeah.
one of the Instagram accounts, Bourbon and Smoke, my buddy Jason Ornelas, like like every few years we switch up things, bring in some new admins that can lighten up the things. Like he likes to, like he made whiskey fun again for me, because I was like all like going towards tequila, but whiskey's still fun. Whiskey has a lot more of that sex appeal than tequila. Like tequila, the thing is, it's actually a rare spirit. When people ask me about Fortaleza, they're like, "Oh, is it like a pappy thing? Because everybody has it, but you just can't find it, and it's only a select place." No, they literally can't keep up with demand.
Yeah.
It's not like pappy. There's a lot more pappy out there than there is Fortaleza.
That's crazy.
I never it was never explained to me like that.
Yeah.
And now I'm in love with tequila even more now.
It's a rare spirit, like like we were talking about it earlier. Is like as craft beer pivoted from craft beer to whiskey, I cleared out all my craft beer shelves, and it used to have like 3 or 4 aisles of craft beer, and I cleared them all out, and it's 3 or 4 aisles of whiskey now.
Oh man!
But now with tequila, I thought, oh man, now we're gonna have to do that same thing with the tequila. We need a bigger shop. But with the tequila, it's truly a rare spirit. Like it's gonna sell out. We literally only get 30 to 60 bottles of certain tequilas. It'll come in, it'll sell out in a weekend. We don't need a shelf space. We literally don't need to do anything with it. It just comes in, goes out.
That is crazy, and I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. Thank you for letting me be a part of this next one.
Well, here I want to say, if anything, like any club that you're even considering, I know that you're a busy man getting off the ground for tequila.
Yeah.
You can count on Rene and I. We will fill that
Bingo.
thing up for you. I
Yeah.
promise you that.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
next we're setting up the next tasting June 18th. We're going to go to the new hotel to exchange the California Fruit Building. Willow, we're going to do a tequila tasting there. We're actually trying to work with Cascanes. So they haven't
That's
confirmed yet, but
good
most
tequila.
likely Cascanes is going to come out here and do the tasting. But we launched it again this year, and it was Jake. We did Jake did the Artenome last week, and then Artenome's
man.
just my amazing. I love it.
That was last week?
2 weeks ago.
Where was that at?
We did it at Maya Restaurant. I'm not sure if you've been to Danny Maya's place, but yeah, he did a phenomenal job with the food, and it's off of Richards.
Yeah.
Richards.
Boulevard,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
By the way, did you know about the next restaurant that they're going to be having their grand opening, I think, in a couple weeks? Pedregal?
Pedregal. Is
So-
that Nick's Taco?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With-
Folsom? Yeah.
Yep. So we're super good friends with Clay.
Yeah.
I actually just recently lost $1,000 bet to Clay.
Yeah.
on a basketball bet. But so they're opening that up in Folsom. I'm super excited to check that place out. I'm not sure if Rene told you, but literally below us, they're finishing all the tenant improvements right now. Ernesto's opening up another restaurant called Oaxaca.
Oaxaca. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
so that's
yeah.
going to be a fire when they're supposed to have like a nice tequila mezcal selection, outdoor seating. So
Yeah. I
fired
would
up
say
about
in
that.
this region, Ernesto has the best mezcal selection I've ever seen. They have a great tequila selection. But yeah, he's busy right now opening up all the
Yes, he
restaurants. But
is.
yeah, he was doing these dinners, the tequila dinners, and man, they were just amazing. But he has one of the best mezcal selection in California.
Man.
Ernesto was doing tequila dinners.
Yeah, he was doing some tequila dinners.
Where do I
and-
find out about this stuff?
yeah.
is
Well,
great.
now I'm gonna have to let you know about him.
Please, yeah, please. So it's cool hearing the story because you're kind of evolving as things are evolving. You know what I mean? So like as part of the story, because I'm even like picturing it, during the real estate crash, opening up Roco. And like right around that time, there wasn't a lot of craft breweries.
Yeah.
And now it's just like I can find 20 breweries within a 5-mile radius.
Yeah.
So it's kind of blown up. So to be part of that grassroots, to have the hustle, and then it sounds like now it's evolved into the spirit thing with you, right?
Yeah.
So like what do you think the next big thing is? I mean, it just following this wave. I mean, do you think that there's going to be maybe, because it looks like you're busting at the seams right now with Roco. Do you think that there's going to be any more locations on the horizon, or are you just kind of having fun staying in the moment right now?
I think the location wise, I don't think I think brick and mortar are dying. I think restaurants, it works for them because you can't virtually eat food, right? Like you could get these food deliveries and everything, but it's not the same experience. But I think the brick and mortar experience of it is dying. Now, like for quick money, I know how to build these stores and like run them for a quick, buck and then sell them off. I do that on the side a little bit, but as to have more stores for Roco, no. What I'm planning on doing is we're gonna move into. We're in the process of buying a big warehouse, and we're gonna move into. So it's a 40,000 square feet warehouse, and we're gonna have a 20,000 square feet of storefront where we're gonna have tastings in there and tasting classes and a butcher shop in there and things like that. And then like a big cigar lounge and all that. But other than that, I think opening up a place in Rockland, Folsom, El Dorado Hills, I get a lot of customers from all those places. I think that just doesn't make any sense because it's too much overhead.
Yeah.
I think my problem is that I'm too lazy right now to go out there and buy these cars, and I need to put my own delivery services out there.
Yeah.
Where, hey, if you live in El Dorado Hills and you want to go ahead and place an order with me, if you place it by 3:30, I'm going to go ahead and deliver it to your doorsteps by 5 o'clock.
You're saying that's on the horizon.
That's on the horizon.
Right now, can we order and have stuff shipped from your store?
Yes, you can. You can. I just don't. I deliver on certain days, but I need to make it where, hey, it's open every day, and we have a dedicated guy who's just driving around and delivering for you guys. And I think that's where the market's going for me, for my business. And the thing is, the overhead's too much. The rents are ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's $3 a square feet everywhere that you look at on the commercial real estate. So if I get a 2,500 square feet, you're paying $3, dude. You're already and then there's triple nets. You're like $10,000 a month in rent.
Wow.
And then finding employees is very hard because now you have Taco Bell. A lot of these guys, nobody owns one Taco Bell. All these franchises that own Taco Bell, McDonald's, they own multiple of them. And now the law is that you got to pay them more than $15 an hour. So they're paying $20 an hour. How do you compete with that?
Yeah.
So guys like me, we can't even give them a minimum wage and hire these guys. So how do you how do you get the brick and mortar going? And then on top of that, the break-ins, that's another thing. And in business insurance.
Have you had break-ins at Roco?
Oh, dude. We went 12 years of our life having no break-ins. And then literally in 2022, it was a break-in every other week. We literally have all glass. And we literally went 12 years of our life where not a single break-in. And it's just like, I got PTSD just from freaking break-ins because it was like, I got Arlo on my phone. We got like freaking over 20 Arlos in the whole freaking parking lot now.
What are Arlos?
The cameras, the little cameras. So they alert you when somebody's walking there after hours. The police has access to my cameras. It's like, God damn it. Like all these things that happened in the last 2 years has changed drastically. And then even that's caused a big problem is the business insurance has gone through the roof. So why do I need to do all that stuff to go out there, open a brick mortgage? My problem is people, I'm not carrying anything that's different, but people just want to buy from me for being the environment, the vibe that we've created.
Yeah.
Now my problem is how do I get it to them that they don't have to drive to me?
No, that's awesome. And that's the way you got to think about it. And so now without grabbing the extra overhead and now just getting more access, that's where, you're not limited anymore either. So I feel like that's a big place that growth could be there. And everybody still wants it to be from you, man. You've built this community, and I love it.
Yep.
All right. Quick little cheers to Ro.
Cheers.
Having you on, bro.
Cheers, guys.
Seriously, man.
So for the people that can't see this and they're listening on Spotify, we're sipping some of this Enalama, which is the tequila from Melanie Shelby. So
love you, Melanie.
Anything you want to say? I mean, for me, it's funny because when you said that marketplace of selling $100 Blanco, but I would never blink over that. Just because I know how special this spirit is. And I'm definitely not just saying this because Melanie's a client of mine, a friend. I know her entire family. I'm putting this Blanco up against most other Blancos that I've ever drank. I mean, it's pure, it's good. The tequila makers, the man.
I would put it up in my top fives.
No,
top five Blancos I've ever had. It's a great Blanco, and one of the biggest things, with newer brands, when it's $100, what happens is a lot of the customers come in and they're like, "Oh man, we haven't tried it," and that's where the Melanie did a great job. She came out and did a tasting, at the shop, and she sold out like I think it was like what 120 bottles
Yeah.
in 2 hours, and because she was there and
That day?
yeah, that day, and like she literally was signing the bottles. And you know, and another thing is like Melanie, like I always tell her, I'm like, your smile just lights up the freaking room.
She
Yeah.
just
You
needs
know,
to
you
clone
just stand
herself.
in front of exactly. She stood in that room, and the minute you smile, you smile and you tell me about this tequila, and I drink that tequila. I'm sold. I will buy a case of this thing.
100% agree.
Yeah,
100%.
I think it's also just the more down the rabbit hole you get with the story, the history, the tequila makers, getting to like, I know that I'm putting it out there, and I know that you're going to be definitely on board with this, but we want to take a trip to Jalisco,
Yeah.
Oaxaca, and actually go visit
For sure.
some of these tequila makers. It was funny because I was like, when Jake was in here, I was like, man, could me and Rene come out with you? And he's like, nah, bro, 3 white boys, we're gonna have trouble. But I'm like, no, but he's not white. He's like, he's half white. It's close enough. We're gonna get in trouble. I'm not taking you guys to Jalisco with me. But Melanie's like, yeah, we'll take you, but I want to walk some see the agave and meet the tequila makers, and I know that that'll resonate and even make what I'm sipping even that much more special.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are ever interested in it, so that's another part that we do is barrel picks. So barrel picks is just like, with whiskey, it works out a lot better just because there's so much fluctuation with taste. So we'll fly out to Kentucky twice a year and we pick barrels. We fly to Scotland, Ireland, and all these places. And then we pick barrels. And these barrels are just unique where it's only for us. And that's where we're making the countrywide name is that, hey, you got to get a Roco barrel pick. We get the Weller Full Proofs, the
Yes.
Pappy. We haven't got a Pappy barrel pick, but we'll go to Buffalo Trace and we'll pick barrels.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 or 7 different barrel picks. And now we're doing the same thing with tequila. So if you guys do want to go out there, I think we have a trip coming up in October with El Ticliano Tequila. So I would love to extend this invite out to you guys and see if you guys want to come
Hell
out there and
yes.
help me pick a barrel.
So wait a minute. So this is something that you do that's super unique,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm thinking this because when barrel picking is what makes it unique, I guess.
So let's talk about it started from the whiskey, right? Like in Sacramento, like a lot of the nugget markets, the Total Wines, they always did a barrel pick. So as we created the River City Whiskey Society, one of my reps just came up to us. They're like, hey, you've got such a big following now. What you should do is pick your own barrel. I'm like, what do you mean pick my own barrel? And so, for example, like it started with Elijah Craig, right? Elijah Craig, when you go on the shelves, you just see this Elijah Craig just sitting on the shelf. That's a core product. That's a product that they made sure that it's going to taste like that every single time. But it didn't get to that point. There's blenders and there's science behind it that they make sure that this is what the core product's going to taste like if you bought that bottle in 2018 or 2022. But barrels, when they're making the whiskey, they're aging these whiskeys, they're sitting there. Now you can go out there, pick these unique barrels. It could be a higher proof. It could be a different taste profile. They haven't altered anything to make it into a core product that they're releasing.
Interesting. So it's not once I'm tasting a barrel pick from you, it's very special and unique to what you picked. It's not the same stuff I'd be drinking off the shelf at a grocery store.
Nowhere, yeah. That's just unique to us, the River City Whiskey Society, the different people that go there. And since we've been picking so many barrel picks, and we're one of the largest barrel pick programs in the state of California, I think I was number 5 in the state of California, number 2 right behind K&L in Northern California. And so we pick about 100, 150 barrels a year. And when we go out to Kentucky, we're tasting through 6 or 7 different barrels, and it's such a great experience where we're bringing out the barrels from different places in the rick house. We're rolling these barrels out, and you're just thieving them. You're like taking a hammer and taking out the bung holes and then freaking whiskey thieving them, and then literally just tasting it right from the barrel. And they're not going to put any water to it. They're not going to cut it, and they're just going to bottle it with your name on it and send it out to you. And it's just such a superior product. And then we've been doing such a long time. Now we expanded it. Now every time I go to Kentucky, we built that little friends circle out there. We try to invite people. So speaking on Elijah Craig, I brought this. Whenever I'm now I'm a little bit mature. When Chris met me, much younger, no kids, just recently married, and used to fucking party like crazy. Just drink a whole bottle of tequila, right? I do beer chugs, right? So as you mature, but still again when you're on a boys trip, you go out there. So there's a bar called Bar Expo. We're in Kentucky, And I go in there and I overheard the bartender talk about, hey, I'm the Tiki Queen of Kentucky. And I'm like, no, you're not. And I'm drunk and I'm just talking shit to her. She's like, I'm going to give you some drinks and then you can't name them. And I message my buddy Drew Garrison, who's really big in Tiki and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, give me a rum drink that she wouldn't know. And he gives me like these 2 names and she gets it. And then I messaged Buddy, who was part owners in Jungle Bird.
By the way, I was just going to tell you that I'm super good friends with Buddy.
Yeah. So
and
Buddy,
he was speaking super highly of you.
So Buddy, I messaged Buddy. I'm like, Buddy, give me a fucking rum drink, a Tiki drink that nobody will be able to make right now and we'll be able to guess. He's a pearl diver. And I go to her, I'm a Baker, make me a pearl diver. She dropped everything. She's a, you fucking son of a bitch. You asshole. I know what a pearl diver is, but I just can't make it for you right now because it takes 45 minutes to make. I'm like, well, so you're no longer the Tiki Queen of freaking Kentucky. And then she's just so pissed off. And then she's like, all right, you have to come back here tomorrow night. I'm going to make this for you. And I'm like, and then she's like, you better come back. And like, and then we go and do our barrel picks the next day and everything. And that was a bar that we hung out at every night when we came back after picking barrels. And then she's there. And then she's just like, she like looked me up on Instagram. She's like, this guy's from Sacramento. His store was Roco, this and that. If he doesn't show up, and we didn't show up on our regular time, we showed up like super late. She's like, this guy doesn't show up. I'm going to fucking go on Instagram, call him out, call all his friends. And she even found Buddy on there, and she messaged Buddy. She's like, you're the one who told him, about the Tiki drinks. Like, I'm like, what the? She's like, you better make it. And I make it in, and she's like, oh, you're here. She's like, I made this gardenia butter that took me 45 minutes to make earlier this day. And now she's making this drink, and she brought a blender and everything to the bar to make this drink for me. And then it took 45 minutes to make this drink. And everybody at the bar is just booing me and throwing things at me. And I'm like, wow, this is just amazing. That she made it. She proved her point. But I was like, hey, next day, why don't you come out and pick a barrel with us?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, come on. So this is beautiful.
I'm like, we tipped her good, but like, she became a friend for our life, right? Like, and then we're like, I got to make up for this mistake. You got to come out and pick a barrel with us tomorrow all day. And then she rode with us. And then when she got to Elijah Craig, I got to honor you in some way. So we picked Elijah Craig barrel pick, and she get the final vote and the final decision, and we named the barrel Pearl Diver.
That's awesome, man. What a great story, man.
So how many?
Wow.
So the people that went on the barrel pick, are those does everyone that goes, do they get bottles sent home?
Yeah, they get bottles, and then what we do is one of the biggest things that I did is. Like my palate is, so we went to Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark is different. We're not picking a barrel, we're blending our own whiskey. So when I'm blending my own whiskey, and I've done it 4 times, what I started noticing is that I'm blending the same thing. I'm like one stave or like one recipe off from what I picked last year. Or I'm picking the same exact thing. So I'm like, okay, that's where it kind of hit me that I got to start inviting more people to this thing. Different palettes, because it can't just be based on me. So now we invite different palettes. We take a few of the River City Whiskey Society members, then we invite people from all over America. We had whiskey content creators come from Chicago. We had whiskey content creators come from Florida, Texas, Indiana, Kentucky, or bartenders from Kentucky that will just meet us there, and they pick barrels with us. So this time around, we went, and this trip I spent about $250,000, and we tasted through maybe 300 different barrels, and we picked 25. And when we're picking these 25 barrels, we had a different person from a different area around the U.S. pick that barrel with us, just so we can differentiate it and bring those kind of taste palettes and just keep things exciting. That's why I wanted to extend that thing out, that tequila, same thing. I've tasted so much of it, I know exactly what I like, and I lean towards that. That's where, like, having fresh palettes like you guys who haven't done a barrel pick yet, come out there and pick a barrel with me. You guys are going to pick a barrel pick that's going to make history. Versus something that people already tried from me. They're like, oh, it's boring now because Roe picks the same exact thing.
So are these going to be from the barrel pick bottles that end up getting sold at your store?
Yeah.
This is freaking incredible, bro. I just checked my calendar. You said October?
October, yeah.
Yeah, I'm free.
Yeah, I'm free.
Renee's free too.
I would love to go to that. Here's the thing, I love a lot of different businesses, and R&D, research and development, and different avenues is good, but it sounds freaking amazing in your industry, man. This research and development he has going at all these places.
Well,
off the chain.
And guess what? I was going to tell you. I got 5 deals closing this month.
Ooh.
And since you are my real estate broker, he's my real estate broker now.
Nice.
That means you're making about $8,000 or $9,000 off of me.
Really?
And then we're closing a deal. So there's some. So you can afford to make this trip in October.
Hey, it's usually time. It just depends on if a kid has a tournament or not. That's my only thing.
That's incredible,
Man, and that's again, I keep going back to that's why you're different. When you're creating this whole society where everybody's having the input, it's a different experience, and the experience means everything.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
That's what it's become. Is like, I was just so always on the go. And with whiskey, tequila, like when you sit down, it forces you to relax. You gotta sit down and have a conversation with people and learn about people. And that was kind of the reason why we opened up a tap room. You spoke about like what's opening, so I can kind of hit you on that. Is the tap room? We got a full liquor license there now, because craft beer has died. And now everybody's either like light beer or maybe an IPA. One IPA, but we're just drinking light beer. So nobody's really looking for that much variety. So craft beer, after COVID, the tap room just didn't come back in the business. So we went out there, applied for a liquor license. So now we got a full liquor license. I'll be the first ever speakeasy inside of a liquor store in America. And we will have the most amazing, the biggest whiskey and tequila selection. It won't be displayed, but it will be on a QR code, and whatever tequila you want to taste, you can taste it before you buy it.
So
You'll be able to come in at the shop, build your
on,
flights,
bro.
and buy it.
Let's
that is
go.
so freaking. So I'm just gonna like paint a picture. I'm with Rene, a couple of our buddies. We're gonna be golfing at El Macero.
Yep.
And after a round of golf, we're like, man, we want to just go and drink some tequila and just hang out and have some fun, maybe smoke some cigars.
Yep.
We can just come to your
You
speakeasy.
can just come in, and same thing with the cigars. Like, you could just come out and like smoke cigars on my patio with a flight of tequila.
When's that going to kick off?
We're right now in the process of the permit, like just building permits and the city permits. We got the ABC, we got the PD to sign off on it. It's just a city. You got to go through the whole bureaucracy and like that whole process. That's the tedious part.
Yep.
Like after that, like all the infrastructure's there. It's going to take me about 2 months to go ahead and open. We're shooting to open up in like September. Do a soft opening, and then like or like the latest, at least I want to have the Christmas rush, because that's when the whiskey is a lot more fun, and even the tequila, because Day of the Dead is such a huge part in Mexican culture. That's when all the craziest tequilas come out.
Oh wow. And where's the location?
And Rocco, it's right in the shop.
It's in the shop.
Yeah, so,
It's in the shop.
so basically, when you walk into his store, like right when you walk in, you're pretty much walking into bottles now.
Yeah.
And there's bottles everywhere, but then you go to the right, and there's another huge room off to the right that used to be his tap house. So is that no longer a tap house right now?
It is right now. We're just keeping it going, and we're gonna do like a closing one day, like I think we're sometime in June. We're just gonna go ahead and shut it down, and then prepare to do this whole construction and this project. And that was the whole idea, is just like building that community. So the reason I built the tap room is when I'm ringing people up, and that's part of the whole thing, is building this whole following and this hype around the brand, is when I'm ringing people up and I just had a bottle shop. I got 5 to 10 seconds. They're standing in line, they buy something, and they go. I don't know nothing about their life.
Yep.
When I built the tap room, I was just like a nail salon, for the ladies, but now for men and like ladies, right? Like everybody. And they come in and they tell me about their life. They tell me about their kids. They tell me about everything. And now they started building that relationship with me. And now we became good friends. Now I'm going to their birthday parties. We're going on trips together. And I think that's what it took, is just slowing everybody down and slowing myself down, is that I don't need the 5 to 10 second interaction. I need to go ahead and have at least good like 10, 20-minute conversations with everybody.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing. And that's why I don't think I can ever live without having a bar space or anything like that where I cannot entertain or talk to people.
You're giving me some really good shit that I need to be reminded about for my own business. Because I feel like in real estate, or with any business, a lot of times we're so reactionary and we forget the part of the business that is why we're successful in the first place, which is the people.
Yeah, it's the people.
It's the people, bro. I mean, like, honestly, like these conversations and the engagements, all it's going to do is make me want to tell 50 people about Roe and these stories that, they're going to hear it regardless.
For sure.
But that's just how it works. Same with like Melanie or Jake. I mean, when Jake came in here, bro, It was hilarious because he shows up and like I think he had to make like 2 different trips. I think he brought like 16 bottles with him on this podcast.
It was so great.
Like,
Thank you,
bro,
Jake.
at the end of it, he brought every Don Amato that you can think of. I'm more of the mezcal guy, so at the end of the pod, he's like, "You can keep all that shit." I'm like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah, just keep it all." I'm like, "All right." Moral to the story though is like, you know, when you break bread with somebody, I want to support that guy's brand more than ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's because of that personal touch. So thank you for just touching on that.
Yeah.
Because you've done a really good job at that. And you're somebody that I know also that is very, very good at giving back to the community. I'm sure you're still doing a lot of stuff that supports West Sacramento and beyond. So shout out to you on that.
Yeah. See, and even on that is a legacy, right? Like one of the things, like you donate to these charities, but then there are people like that have helped so much in that business. There's people that are just so generous. Like one of the charities that I do every year that I look forward to is ANRAC Foundation. And these are like, veterans, who like, have come back, like either they lost their limbs or they have PTSD and they can't support their families. Now let's go out there and build college funds for these kids. And this charity, I became part of it about 2 years ago. And this was just a customer that came in and he just started talking to me and he told me a little bit about it. And I kind of felt that, like, because, I think education's a way out of poverty. And that's been like, like especially in Indian culture, that's literally how every Indian is getting out of this poverty, is just with education. And it's a proven thing, right? And then I want people to go out there and have that education. And I was like, I want to be part of this. And when I joined this, and there's so many people that are dedicated to this, and they come out and they're like, oh my God, you did this. And it's not like I'm asking for this, but they're like, okay, we're only going to support you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these guys are in the construction business, and now all their construction buddies, like from roofing guys to the guys who are paving these Highway 50s, they're like, oh no, we're only going to go to that guy to go buy stuff. And it's just, it's like giving back, like, I'm not doing it for that reason, but still, like, it just connects that whole business community. Is going out there, getting to learn about people, and just being part of something.
Yeah, it's huge.
Man, I love it. I love it. So you talked about what's next when I can't wait from coming back from golf and then stopping there, just like you outlined. That's going to be extremely fun, and I got to think that that's the next step that's going to really take what you have been building to the next level, because the craft beer and everything, great, and that allowed people to slow down. But just like you said, like tequila and whiskey, you got to slow it down a little bit. That's going to give you even more an opportunity for people to fall in love with what you've been doing in West Sac and around, and making it a complete destination. Is that the thought process behind it? Is that what you're thinking?
Exactly, right? Like I said, like I always watch Shark Tank, right? And one of the things that always stood out is, what do you have that nobody else has?
Yeah.
Right. I got everything that everybody else can get access to, but why do people want to shop with me?
Yeah.
It's the culture that we create. It's the vibe that we create. It's the business that we create. And like another thing that I wanted to touch on is, certain days, like, you hear, like I heard Will Smith like one time, right? Like just listen to this podcast and he talks about, hey, I'm not competing against anybody.
Yeah.
It's me against me.
Yep.
I want to be better the next day.
Yep.
Some days I go home and I'm like, oh, well, crappy sales, crappy day. What could I've done that was different? And you self-reflect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the business is. That's what business is. It's your battle against yourself.
Yeah.
You get what you put into it. If there's so many people that come out and they go, oh, man, I'm struggling in this business. I'm like, what did you do all day today?
Mm-hmm.
They are like, oh, nothing. Like, I thought like people will like my concept. People might like your concept, but you haven't told people about your concept, what you're doing. You got to get out there, get on the Instagram, be loud and be proud. Like sometimes, like I've had people like on Instagram tell me, oh, you're annoying, I'm going to unfollow you. I'm like, all right, that's fine. It's still my business. This is how I make my living.
Yeah.
I'm going to be loud and proud about my business, and I'm going to keep on talking about it. If you don't like it, somebody else might.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know the funny part about that, the loud and the knowing part is they will remember you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't change for the 1% that dislike, though. I mean, you've grown it that way for a reason. And I said it from the beginning. You're a fun-ass follow because there's a lot going on. I love it.
You know how I'm also relating to what you're doing at a high level? And this is funny. I was just in Seattle recently. So I was with my lady, and we're big foodies. So we want to go to like nice restaurants wherever we go. It's now a norm for me when I'm in a new environment that I haven't been. I will Google something, but the place that I'm making my final decision on is Instagram.
It's Instagram. Yeah.
This is how it is, bro. Like, and so like I've pulled up, we were looking at like, I mean, we already had some recommendations, but on one night we were looking for like a restaurant on our own. And it came down to like these 3 restaurants, and like 2 of their Instagram profiles were just trash. Could have been a good restaurant. Who knows? But we ended up going with the one that had the good profile. So like to your point, like consistency, it matters.
It matters.
It matters, man. And like it's something that, you know, I'm always looking to implement in my own business. So
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is like, you know, going out there and learning from people like in different industry. And that's where the innovation comes from me is like, hey, how do we go out there, build it? Like what are other people doing that's right? Right? What's going on? Like I tell my, like, you know, right now the online business is huge for me. And that was another thing is like, you know, why open brick and mortar when my online store is literally going to be bigger than my retail center this year. So for the last 4 years, we've been building this online shop, and this year my online store is just like running another store, and it's gonna beat it. And in the way that trajectory is, in the next 5 years, it's gonna be like running 5 stores versus 1 store, just online. And then with the online team, I tell them, hey, look at the makeup industry. I tell everybody that, hey, on our one-on-ones, on Monday, we have a staff of 5 people. I tell everybody that, hey, on Mondays when we have our one-on-ones, I want everybody to look at a different industry and let's talk about it. Give me one industry that you're going to just keep on looking at. Let's look at the makeup industry. What are these influencers, all these girls that are going out there doing makeups online? Can we do something like that? Let's just drink online.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's do all these things. But let's go makeup industry. Let's look at construction industry. Like construction industry, they have the loyalty and it's handshakes. It's not a lot of contracts, right? These guys are just like, okay, we build that friendship. But the makeup industry, how they do the best content creation I've ever seen, and they are all over social network. How do you get the captivated audience? And that's what we do is like just go out there and look at different industries. What are they doing, and how we can implement it into a liquor store.
Yeah.
And that's like, you know, there was a time when I hate saying that I own a liquor store. And now I'm like, there's still some people that don't get it. Like recently joined Sutter Club, and you know, like go to Sutter Club, and you tell people I love liquor store, and they don't realize it. But then once they like start finding out, hey, it's Roco.
Yeah.
It's a brand. Like there's football players from NFL teams to like today we have the Weber girls. Their master chef, he's going to be at the shop after this, and their CEO is going to be at the shop after this, and we're setting up a whole thing just for him. And he's gonna buy like $50,000-$60,000 worth of alcohol, and then that's it. You know,
are they reaching out to you for?
They're reaching out to us. So like, you know, that's it. Like,
dude.
so these guys are.
So that's it. You've built a brand.
Built a brand.
You built a following. Like I went. How many employees do you have? Probably not a lot.
So we have 6 employees at the shop, and then the online team is more because we have like, you know, people that are creating all these different websites and different ideas, you know, and that's it. So we have 5, so altogether 11 employees.
Yeah, I feel like the employees all know that if somebody comes up and they're making a special purchase, that they're going to take a video or
Take a picture.
take a picture.
Exactly. That's the hall pick, right? Like that was another thing is just engaging. It's like little things that matter. It's like if I post a picture of Enalama tequila, not that many likes, not that many people that want to buy it. If I post a picture of Chris buying it, now everybody's like, oh shit, that guy.
Yeah.
Either it's his friends or somebody's going to be just sitting there. That guy looks like me.
Yeah.
I like that guy's shirt or the way that he wore his hat. I like the tequila. That's it. They just relate to that.
Yeah.
It's just psychologically. That's why I like to, like, I don't like posting a lot of product pictures. I like posting pictures of people buying that product.
Let's go.
And that's it. And then that just connects in people's head, and they want to come by and buy that same exact thing.
You do a great job of that, man.
He does. Let's go back to the delivery thing. So, have you heard of it's not a competitor, but it's a bottle shop in San Francisco called Bitters and Bottles.
Bitters and Bottles. I love Bitters and
Okay,
Bottles.
cool.
Yeah.
So I found out about that from my buddy Peter, who's a West Sac native.
Yeah.
Peter and Aaron, great guys, and they've been to your. It was actually funny. I told them to go back to your store. They've been to your store, but he was like at Total Wine. He had a big party coming up, and he's like, "What is your favorite mezcal?" And I was like, "You're not gonna find any mezcal that's good at Total Wine, unfortunately. You need to go to Roco." But he told me about Bitters and Bottles, and it was kind of during the pandemic.
Yep.
And that's what I was doing. I was buying my favorite bottles of whether it be whiskey or tequila from Bitters and Bottles. So now that I know that you're going to be having that, I'm stoked because I kind of joke, I say I live on an island. I live out in Arden, but like once you're home, like driving anywhere is a pain in the ass. But like, I guess my question is, does your store participate like if somebody's doing like a Drizzly order?
So I don't, because they just take too much of a margin,
Yeah.
and
Got
it's
it.
such a big headache to kind of update it.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a whole thing. Like, so I never wanted to kind of support that. Never went the Drizzly route. I'm gonna just have my own.
Yeah.
So you could just go on my website. I ship right now. I ship to the West Coast, the whole entire West Coast, and I ship all over California. And then eventually, what we're gonna do is we are like right now. I have Rose Bowl. We're gonna go out on Wednesdays. Elk Grove. We're gonna go out Thursday. And anybody who has an order, place your order. But I want to get to a point where it's like, hey, every day place your orders before 3:30, and we'll go ahead and give you a time window and everything.
Like, are you saying like it might happen? Like they can get their shit same day?
Same day. It's going to
That's
be same day. That's what I
ridiculous.
want to try to get to is the same day. And that's the innovation part, right? Is getting there and is just doing it, like finding people. And like that's a good thing is there's a lot of people that have retired and they're like, oh, we'll just do this for part-time.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And these are all the people that just come and buy whiskey from me. They're like, oh, this will be our whiskey spending money. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
perfect. So I have the people. I just got to get the cars and get that thing rolling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so same day, like, hey, between 5 o'clock, 5 to 7 o'clock, we'll make the delivery for you
Yeah.
that same day. And that's it. So that's where we're trying to get to. But Bitters and Bottle, that's another shop that when I was creating my website, I looked at them, reached out to Joe, and I talked about the loyalty program over there. And everybody's so helpful. And that was one of the things that I think, even with me, like yesterday, I had this thing. I had a customer on one of the Facebook pages on alcohol. Somebody goes, hey, buy this from Roco. And this goes, oh, I will never buy it from Roco because he made me buy a bundle. And I commented on there because I'm like, dude, I didn't make you buy a bundle. I'm against these bundles because some of these allocated whiskeys, they're like, oh, if you want it for a good price, go buy 2 of these things. And I was like, hey, no, the brand forced me to do this. I just want you to know. And I said it publicly
Yeah.
in that brand's page. They forced me to do it. It wasn't my will. They were like, hey, you can be the first one in California to get this, and we release it with you, but you're going to have to force all your customers to buy these other 2 things.
Yeah.
So I kind of explained that to him, and he was like, yeah, dude, I used to buy so much from you for the last 2 years. I didn't buy it from you because of this reason. And I was like, okay, because it's because I'm not making myself accessible to these people.
Yeah.
They can't have that conversation with them. And that was the thing is like now that was a lesson that I learned yesterday is that I got to kind of go out there and send that vibe that you can talk to me about it. Even if it's a negative thing, rather than leaving a review or talking about it, if you message me, I can kind of explain to you from my part what happened, and we can kind of save that relationship. And that's where, like, even in the industry, a lot of stores, like local stores, they find me as a competition. They will never reach out to me, but they'll go out there and they'll be like, talk to the reps. They follow me. They do all these things, but they'll never reach out to me.
Yeah.
But these stores from like San Jose, all these guys that don't feel threatened,
Yeah.
they're like, they'll reach out to me and we become great friends.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the message that I want to kind of get is, dude, if you don't ask anybody, you can't just assume anything in this
Yeah.
world.
Yep.
I go to Bitters and Bottle because hey, I idolize you. What you guys do online, nobody else does that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, could you help me? And I'm like, say no if you want to. I will not be offended. And he said, no, why would I say no? I will help you. What's your question? And he helped me through my whole reward system. Same thing with Tahona Mercado. If you like mezcal, the best shop to buy mezcal in California is Tahona Mercado in San Francisco. And Steven Sadari, this guy has built a whole shop, and he has a restaurant in San Diego, and he goes to Mexico, and he just focuses on mezcal. He has good tequila, but he focuses on mezcal. I reached out to him the other day. I'm like, hey man, in whiskey industry, this whole year, we're seeing a slow downturn, and I'm struggling to sell some of these barrel picks, and I know you buy big batches of these mezcals. I don't know if there's an option for us to partner and to start buying together, or start doing these things together.
Yeah.
And feel free to say no. I will not be offended.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if I'm stepping on any toes. I don't mean like you might be booming.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm seeing. And he came back. He said, dude, I'm in the same boat. I would love to partner with you. And that's it. Like, it's just, there's so many things that you find out by just having a communication with people.
Yeah.
And you build these long-lasting relationships. And that's where I'm working on myself is like, go out there. And I'm a big believer in consistency, and go out there and ask. If you don't ask, you're not getting it.
Just gave me more inspiration for getting Mitch Richmond on the podcast.
There it is.
Yeah.
I set my goal this year. I want to get Mitch Richmond on the podcast. He's my favorite Kings player of all time. And I just, I don't know why I'm nervous. It's just Mitch Richmond. So
What's the worst they can say? No, like, and that's the other thing is you can't get your feelings hurt by just somebody saying no anymore.
Honestly,
like,
you continue to say that you lead off by saying, hey, you can say no, like making it a safe space for it.
Yeah.
That's what opens it up. And honestly, well, the misunderstanding about selling with a bundle, you don't know how much that kind of hits home because there's so much that goes into the thought behind what we put out in our industries and everything like that. And very few people will tell you when they have an issue, right? They just don't. You find out later, and it's a misconception more than half the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. So refreshing to hear, and we all got to deal with the same things, man.
yeah, I'm glad that you said the thing about mezcal. My mezcal journey has been strange to say the least.
Yeah.
I used to hate mezcal.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do. I don't know what it is. Like one of my favorite cocktails in the entire universe is Naked and Famous.
okay.
Have you ever had a Naked and
Yes.
Famous? Okay. Man, maybe that was like part of the reason it changed it. But I think what really changed my journey with mezcal was hanging out with Weston, my homie, who is the one that introduced me to Jake.
Yeah.
And then once I started trying some special mezcals, I don't know, man, like the whole like this is so smoky thing just kind of went away a little bit.
Yeah.
But I also want to chat about one of my biggest pet peeves is going to big sporting events or concerts and just the shit that they sell.
Yeah.
We talked about it. Like I'm at a place now where my palate is what it is.
Yeah.
And so I went to a Giants game and ordered a tequila. They were pouring Cuervo, and it was just I was like, I guess I'm drinking Coors Light today.
Yeah.
But I say all that because last weekend, bro, we went to the Roots. We saw the Roots at it was the second best venue I've ever been to in my life. My favorite venue that I've ever been to is Red Rocks in Colorado, which is
Dude, I want to go so bad.
dude, it's incredible. We're going in June. My lady and I are going to see a band called Parcels. But it's basically Red Rocks is like you're watching a concert in the middle of the Grand Canyon. It's incredible. But Saturday we went to this place called the Mountain Winery. So if you ever get a chance, you gotta go to a concert at the Mountain Winery,
looked
dude.
dope. It
You
looked
drive up a freaking hill for like 5 miles, and now you're just like overlooking Los Gatos, San Jose.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible. Bro, guess what they were pouring? You'll appreciate what they were pouring. For their tequila, they were pouring Lalo.
Yeah.
And for their mezcal, they were pouring Lost Explorer.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That Lost Explorer mezcal, that's great.
it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm like, I look at Devin and I look at the homies and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm getting fucked up tonight.
So on that Lost Explorer mezcal, I think one of the greatest marketing thing that they ever did for the mezcal industry is they put the age statements on there. Because as Americans,
Yeah.
we've been drinking whiskey and scotch for such a long time that everybody associates it's good because there's a number on it.
Yeah.
And what they did is 8, 10, and 12. And when people come in there, like it's aged 8 years old. It's 12 years old, 8 years old. Mezcal, but how come the color hasn't changed? I'm gonna know because mezcal, all the maturation happened in the ground. These are literally 12-year-old agaves that they picked out and put it in this bottle. Imagine being a farmer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so imagine being a farmer and having to wait 12 years to pick this crop and make this mezcal for you.
That's crazy.
That's a long patience. Like that's
Wow.
a great patience, like that you need to have as a business owner. That it's going to take you 12 years to make that, and that's what Lost Explorer did is to kind of showcase this that these mezcals, the agaves that are going in there, are not your 2-year-old agave that Patron.
Yeah.
Well, Patron's actually good.
Patron's is good,
Patron's
yeah.
good. Don Julio. That Don Julio is using the agave diffuser, and they're using the 2-year-old agave.
How did you find out about that?
Jake actually taught me
Bingo.
Jake taught me a lot about the agave diffusers. I knew about the additives and everything. And there's another guy, Drew Garrison. I don't know if you met him yet. He's an absolutely awesome dude. And
Jake mentioned his name. That's where I've heard
Drew,
the name.
Yeah, so Drew, he's big in the tequila and the mezcal. He's actually the Lost Explorer rep in Sacramento. And he has been my agave guru. So he's been teaching me all about agave and everything. And they actually have the Good Bottle podcast with Chris Sinclair. So I don't know if you know Chris Sinclair. So they have the Good Bottle podcast, Drew and Chris, and they do Drew is probably one of my biggest supporters and biggest what do you call it? Can't find the word, but I call him. He's like my therapist. I don't pay him, but he's like my therapist. I call him, and he teaches me about spirits, and he's actually kind of helped me grow out of that mindset.
Yeah.
Is when I was just a liquor store and just selling Jameson, this and that, and just the Johnny Walkers. He's a why. And even when I just started doing bourbons, I started doing these craft bourbons. He's a why just bourbon.
Yeah.
Why aren't you going to Scotch? Why aren't you doing single malts? Why aren't you doing Israeli whiskey? Why aren't you doing Welsh whiskey? Why aren't you doing all these different things? Why aren't you doing tequila? And this is what the difference is between these tequilas. And he started educating, and that's what it takes. So another great guy, and like, you know, that's what opens you up is like, go out there, collaborate with people. Don't be afraid if they're in the same industry. They're going to teach you so much that you haven't learned yet, you know, and that's what you got to go look at it is there's so many people that are willing to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I had a really good experience on my beginning stages of my mezcal journey, and that experience was at Localis.
Okay.
And Localis, have you been there?
Yeah.
Okay. Their freaking their bar menu is pretty phenomenal. And Josiah, yeah, that's the man.
Dude, my man, dude. That guy has such a great palate. Love that guy. Yep.
So that night, the food was great, but the winners of the night was I did a mezcal flight, and we did the old wine list, or they have like an old wine thing where like they were bringing out stuff from like the late. He brought out a Spanish wine, I think, from like 1983.
Oh, wow.
Like some wild stuff. But the two of the mezcals I had that night, one was Lost Explorer. That's how I found out about Lost Explorer. Great mezcal. He poured some Don Amato. At that time, I didn't even know who Jake Lustig is. Yeah. So I'm like, I drink this Don Amato. It was one of my favorites. There was another one, Lunetta. Have you heard of Lunetta?
Yep.
Dude, and I learned that they can't even they have to call themselves a spirit. They can't. I don't know, like I read the whole breakdown. They can't technically call it mezcal, and it's for all the political red tape or
just different states,
different things. Yeah, something like that.
Exactly. Yeah,
but that Lunetta, like, dude, you look at the bottle and you're like, who made this?
If you go look at it, these guys are hand making all this stuff. Hand making all these mezcal. Like, you know, for example, like everybody wants to buy these Clase Azules, and it kind of annoys me. I sell it too, and we sell a lot of it, but it just kind of annoys me. I'm like, dude, this guy is a billionaire who owns this company, and he exploits the Mexican cheap labor.
Yep.
He doesn't pay him anything. But then there's this guy who's Lunetta and like Lost Explorer. These are all hand-blown glasses. This is a family. This is a whole village that they're going to be out there supporting. They're putting the water projects. And that's what you got to look at it is when you're buying, you got to like people go, hey, I don't know how to help everybody. With your everyday purchases, you can help people.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and that's the thing is you're getting superior product.
Bingo.
Bingo. They're not going out there paying rappers millions of dollars to rap about this in a club.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm at Weston's house. I know you've heard the story, but he would appreciate the story. So this is like shortly after that Localis experience. I tried the Don Amato. It's 4th of July. We're like at a pool party in my neighborhood, and all of a sudden Jake shows up. And Jake, like, he shows up in a classic car, and he's like showing up with like bottles in his hands. And I'm like, oh, I just tried that. That's some good stuff. That Don Amato, man. I had that at Localis. And Jake was like, oh, cool, man. Thank you. And I'm like, what do you mean, thank you? He's like, oh, yeah, this is mine. I'm like, oh, shit. Small world. And so I say that to transition to say that you now have given me what I'm going to say anytime I feel guilty for drinking in the daytime, or if somebody gives me shit, or my or my conscience, that we're supporting good people.
That's right.
That's what we're doing. We're supporting good people.
That's right. And I know one of the things we like to bring on this podcast, especially with your knowledge of the industry, stuff that people might not know. Like, you got all the insights. We're talking about whiskey. We're talking about craft beer. We're talking about tequilas and everything like that. The mission to grab some of this stuff is one thing, but, stuff that pops up in your store. Share anything that the average person might not know, but might give them a tip on what to buy, how to find out what they like. I don't know, kind of a wide open question there, but I love that's what people are listening for,
So one of the things with tequila, I'll tell you, that was the biggest shock to me is having this good tequila. It's an America thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not available in Mexico.
Yeah.
They don't have this good tequila. I go, not even just Jalisco or Guadalajara, but I was in Mexico City, and Mexico City is known for their food scene.
Yeah.
And they're known for their bar scene, an amazing place. You guys should always go. If I could redo my bachelor party, I would do it in Mexico City. It's like Mexico City is freaking phenomenal. Like bars on bars on bars. There's bars everywhere, and all these little neighborhoods. It's just such a cool vibe, and Everybody speaks English, and it's so safe. Everybody's like, oh,
Really?
yeah. But one thing that Mexico did lack is you'll go to all these nice craft bars, craft places. They didn't have good mezcal. They didn't have good tequila.
Really?
This is very unique to America.
Interesting.
Just because they charge, so, like one of the reasons, like Lalo, for example, he can't sell his tequila there. So when Lalo was out here, we went to lunch with him and we talked about like, hey, how come it's not sold in Mexico? He's like, because for him to sell it in Mexico, it's he said it's they charge him. It's 70% taxes on it, so his bottle will be like $70 in Mexico, and people can't afford it. And he wants to have a Blanco that's affordable that people can buy all the time. So that's one of the biggest reasons, and a lot of they just haven't made it over there. Like it's super hard to find good mezcal and good tequila in Mexico. So it's we're very fortunate that it's only in the United States, and it's very hard to find it in any other countries.
So
That's dope.
Does this? I never knew
That's
that.
dope. See, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I mean,
Total, by the way, now we're tasting the 1579 from Arte
Arte
Gnome,
Gnome.
and I'm still getting better. You know, I'm learning and I'm going through this. All I can say about this compared to the Enalama is it literally to me completely tastes completely different.
It tastes
does.
completely different. I would say the 1579 almost like gets closer to like a mezcal. I get like a little bit of a funk to it, like a little bit of cheesy funk to it. Yep, that green, the earthiness.
Well,
on that one, you had a little bit more crisp.
Yeah, like this one, it's a mood thing. I don't know, but like I'm picking up more peppery stuff than on this one than Melanie's.
Yep.
Yeah.
The 1123 is the one that really fascinates me because he says he finished that in mezcal barrels.
Okay.
And it was so funny because my lady, like half of her family's Mexican, and for Thanksgiving I brought a bottle of the 1123. Literally opened it up, poured a couple for somebody, and her aunt who's full-blooded Mexican. I'm like, here, try this, and she grabs it. She goes, "Is this mezcal?" And I'm like, "Damn!" I'm like, "No, it's tequila."
Yeah,
but he finished it in a mezcal barrel, so that was pretty dope. But does that same thing that you mentioned, where they don't sell a lot of good tequilas in Mexico, does that same thing apply to like when you're like in like Oaxaca? Or like,
I haven't been to Oaxaca, but I would imagine so. 'Cause
Or like
anywhere, even when you
Jalisco?
go to Jalisco and you're in the town of tequila and you're going to these liquor stores there, they don't have the good tequila.
what about like if you?
They have like tequila that are made there, but they're like also like they got the Patrons. They have some of the small producers.
Yeah.
But you will not find like some of like the Cascarines, like like the the Arte Gnomes, the Enalamas of the world, Lalo. Like you won't find those there.
Yeah.
You won't find those tequilas there. Only very select few shops that have it. So it's like a very fortunate thing that we have in the United States.
Got
that
it.
It's one thing is also over there you don't have the same economic. People are not making the same amount of money over there,
Yeah.
so they can sell it better, you know. And I got to look a little bit more into it, but what exactly are the reasons? But every time we ask the bartenders, they're over there, they're like, we don't even know, nobody reaches out to us. Like I went to this Michelin guide restaurant. I don't think they got a Michelin star, Puyo, in Mexico City. Amazing restaurant. And Lost Explorer actually helped me get the reservation because we couldn't get it through any other channel. And we tried to book it like 3-4 months before Lost Explorer got it. And then I was like, I get there, I'm like, okay, obviously they must be carrying Lost Explorer. And asked them, they're like, no, we don't have it.
What?
They don't have Lost Explorer. They're like, I'm like, oh really? But they just reached out to their distributors out there and they got us the reservation.
Yeah.
But and you're looking at this restaurant, their bar. They had amazing wine selection, crappy tequila selection. They had Clase Azul. I'm like, what the heck is this? You're making such good food.
Yeah.
And this is what you got. So it was just amazing to me
crazy.
to kind of go there.
So note to self: the best way to experience Mexico City, or maybe like in Jalisco or even Oaxaca, who knows, is set the trip up to where you get to go to the
Distilleries.
Go straight there, right?
Go and grab your bottles there,
Yeah.
and then bring your own bottles to the restaurants if they'll allow you. I don't know.
They allow you.
All right. So speaking of tequila, should I tell you about what my vision is? What my idea is with the tequila? What I want to do with it?
I think
Yes,
you
yes.
should.
All right. So tequila is only in USA, and it's a very saturated market.
They don't sell tequila in Canada?
They have tequila in Canada, but they have Don Julio and the bigger guys that have bigger distribution.
Got it.
Same thing in Asian countries, Europe, and everything. Now, California and Chicago. This is something I just found out from Jake the other day, that Chicago has the second biggest Hispanic population in
Chicago does?
Yeah, in
touched on
United
that.
States. So
He didn't. He told us about his time in Chicago,
Okay.
but I don't know.
yeah,
that
so I don't know if
detail.
it's the same, the second biggest tequila market in United States is Chicago after California. So and just Chicago itself, it's like, okay, what's going on there? Like, cause I always see all these Volans tequila, G4, they're always flying out there and doing events out there. I'm like, how come you're not in Sacramento yet? So we're trying to get these guys in Sacramento. But my vision is, so just looking at innovating and just where do we go, building the legacy for the kids, right? And I don't want to leave the alcohol industry. I love this alcohol industry, and just because of how many connections and how many people I know. And also, I want to get back in touch with my own heritage, like in India. So in India, one of the things is all my family's moved over to America or Canada. So I have nobody. I literally have nobody. If I go back there, I'm going to have to stay in hotels. I'm going to have to figure out my own trip. I don't know anybody back there. So I'm like, how do I get back in touch over there? And I just scrolling through Instagram and come across this guy, IT guy. And I don't even know what it was called, but I saved this thing. This guy, white guy, I'm working in IT. He's in India, and he's working for Facebook or Google, or one of these guys. And he goes, man, I'm craving Mexican food. How come there's no Mexican food in India? And he's like, I'm just going to make my own. Indian food is very similar to Mexican food. Like, they make beans and all these things.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just make it home. He made it, takes it to work. And people are like, oh, man, can I try that burrito? And he's like, yeah. They're like, can you make it more? And then from there, all these office staff, all these Indian guys, they're like, oh, yeah. Then he goes to the cafeteria. He's like, okay, can once a week I just make Mexican food for you guys in the cafeteria? And then he started doing that. From there, everybody's like, dude, you should just open up a restaurant. He opens up one restaurant in Goa just because Mexican food is so similar to fucking Indian food.
Yeah.
It's like the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Same spices, same everything. It's just not rolled up. Indian food, they're like, hey, swoop it rather than it's rolled up. Like, that's it. And it's a thicker bread. That's it. So he's like, all right, shit, let me just start doing this. He's like, all right, I'm going to open up a shop. He opens up a shop, does freaking $20 million in business in first year in dollars. And then he goes, all right, I'm going to just start franchising. He opens up 35 shops of just like a Chipotle model in India, and is doing $1 billion in fucking revenue. $1 billion, not billion rupees, $1 billion, billion US dollars in revenue with 30 freaking shops just making burritos.
Do you know the name of it?
I forget the name of it. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah,
so
please.
this guy's just doing this killer revenue, and then I'm like, okay. And then now I started following these guys from India, not because of him, but just in the alcohol industry. I started following from this Amrit whiskey, all these whiskey, and I started going on to this craft cocktail scene. And I'm like, whoa, India used to be, when I was back there, it was such a big cultural, religious thing that people are like, okay, half of the population drinks, half of the population doesn't drink. Half of the population eats meat, half of the population doesn't eat meat. And it's such a big religious thing. But now as people are getting educated and they're leaving, there's the religious aspect, but they're like, okay, we could go out there and we're making money. We could drink. We can have cocktails. There's a big booming craft cocktail scene in Delhi, Mumbai, all these bigger cities, but they don't have good alcohol. So when I started looking at it, all the alcohol that they're making these cocktails are with all this big brand names.
Yeah.
These are all Don Julio.
Yep.
Don Julio owns that market, and Smirnoff Vodka owns that market. Johnny Walker owns that market. Nobody can sell anything else. Imagine going there, introducing a tequila.
It would take off.
Yep, and that's it. And then that's what I want to do. And that's what my next move is. And that's I've been slacking on it, but been talking to a few people that, hey, I come up with my own tequila brand. I sell it specifically, strictly only at my shop. So not to create another brand that we're releasing in the United States, but I do want to carry it at my shop.
Yeah.
So I sell it to people here, but predominantly 80% of the sales, I want to get it out of India. So this way I get back in touch with India, and I also have a business in India and a reason to go back to India and have my kids know about that culture.
Isn't
that's
one of the biggest reasons why there isn't good spirits in India, Europe, all the different countries you mentioned, because of how expensive it is to get it out there?
I don't think it's expensive to get it out there. And the other thing is that you got to realize these economies are growing so fast. Like there's so much money out there, so much wealth out there now. It's ridiculous. Just because. Then the other thing is you got to look at it from COVID perspective, from a global economy standpoint. COVID happened, and America realized that they relied so much on China, and everything got shut down. Now the next other place that had an infrastructure to kind of start producing these things was India. So now Apple, they're like, hey, turn the switch off here, turn the switch on here. They're already ready to go to India. But now all these global companies, what they're doing is they're setting up this big warehouses that if there's another pandemic like this, we still keep the global supply open. Now the next country is Brazil. So Brazil, India, these are the countries where the manufacturing is, and Mexico. So they're trying to get it in every continent where they can do it. But India was the obvious choice right now because they had an infrastructure there, but they weren't having the same volume as China was. Now, as America went through COVID, America's diverted a lot of dollars into India. So now you got to imagine these people are going nuts. And, and that's another taboo that people have, that people hate Americans out.
Yeah.
They love it. As much as we're like, oh, we got this Chinese-owned product. We might love it or might not love it.
Yeah.
But over there, they love American-owned products. They love American-owned products. They want to know about it, that this is American-owned.
Yeah.
This was made in this wine in Napa. Another success story, another reason why I wanted to go to India is there was a store called Lake Forest Wines in El Dorado Hills. Raj, I met him back in 2000 when I opened up my liquor store. Just reached out to him. Always had that attitude. Just reach out to somebody who's doing something better in my industry. Go out there, learn the game from them, and then go out there and crush it.
Yeah.
So I go to Raj. I'm like, how are you doing this wine and all this stuff? He started telling me. And then back then in India, in Delhi, he had one shop. Selling wine, and what he would do is buy wine from Fetzer, like cheap wine over here that we're getting for $2.50, and he'll buy these wines and he'll take it to India and sell it for $50.
Dang.
Because people just wanted to say Napa Valley.
Exactly.
And Delhi, they had so much money there, and you got to imagine Indian weddings over here are huge. Like my wedding had 1,000 people here.
Yeah.
Indian weddings in India are 10 times bigger. They have 10,000 people there. So when you have that, you're not buying wine by 10 cases, 20 cases.
Yeah.
You're buying Napa Valley wine, and you're buying these wines, truckloads of it. So
no-brainer.
Yeah, and he went from one shop to owning 20 shops across India, and now he's the sole distributor for wine that he curates from all over the world and brings it to India.
Come on. Is that store still open?
He sold the store, but he still lives here. He lives part-time here and lives part-time there. And you're like, wow, he's just crushing it. And that's the whole thing is I'm like, okay, I want to do something like that. Cause one thing that stood out to me, my 6-year-old, he asked me, he went to school and he's like, hey, a kid told me you're Indian. He said, I thought I was American, Dad. He said, why does everybody call me Indian? Because, he doesn't know it. He spent some time with my parents, right?
Yeah.
He speaks the Punjabi. He speaks this language, but he didn't know him. We're like, you're Indian American.
What's his name?
Ryan.
So you're like, come here. Look at your skin.
Yeah. So you gotta and then I'm like, all right, shit, man. By the time this kid grows up, he understands it, but he doesn't speak the language. He speaks with my parents, but eventually he's just gonna not have the sense of where he came from. I got to do something. So that's my legacy project that I want to do. That, hey, I want to launch this brand into India and take something that I'm passionate about as the spirits world and educate India and go into that little cocktail scene in India. And you got to imagine, right now, if you look at the statistics, Indians are such a small population in America, and they're one of the richest. They are the richest minority in America.
Hustlers.
And in India, out of the whole population, only 20% of the population is educated.
Damn.
Now, as that thing starts shifting,
Yeah.
more of the population is educating. They're breaking those religious taboos,
Yeah.
and they're breaking those little myths, and they're going out there and exploring. And the other big thing is their whole population's under 40. 80% of their population's under 40. So when you look at it that perspective, these young kids need somewhere to spend their money. They're going to have so much spendable money in the next 10 years. That's where you want to go and educate these people about these tequilas, these liquid deaths, these, if Pepsi,
Yeah.
Coca-Cola, they send one can over there. If they sold one can to 1.8 billion people a day and only made 10 cents, they're making more revenue than any other place in the world.
That's wild. That is fascinating, man. This whole talk of why it's only in U.S. Because I remember I was in Greece We went to Greece and France last year on vacation, and like that was the one thing Kendra and I were like, everywhere we went, we're like, man, there's like nowhere we can get good alcohol. Like, makes me want to like travel with something. I want to ask you on the Indian thing. So, majority of my Indian friends, they all say the same thing, and I want to ask you now.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, what's a really good Indian restaurant here? And they all tell me there's not a good one here. It's all at home. Would you like what's your thoughts on that?
I think the home is good too, but like India Oven, I think locally in Sacramento is really good. But I think they all just start falling apart like after a while, right? Like it's your biggest asset is always your chef, or like your brewer or your distiller.
Yep.
And that's where the brewery world, I think that's where craft beer fell, is just because they weren't paying their assets well. Distillery world, they lock them in, and the same thing with the Indian restaurants. Their chefs, like when their chefs change, it changes. Right now, India Oven, I would say in Sacramento region is probably the best food.
Where's that at?
I don't know if they are in Sacramento downtown. I think they have one in Natomas, and they have a big wedding hall in Citrus Heights. And amazing food. And then Bombay Lounge is not bad either.
Bombay's right next to my house in Midtown.
Yeah.
That I own, and I swear to God, every morning, right around like 10 in the morning, is when you can smell that they start cooking, and I'm like, God, this smells.
See, Bombay Lounge is good, but the one that I've been really going to and I've been actually craving and is Refuge. It's called Refuge, but it's owned by Star India, and it's in Yuba City.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It's in Yuba City. And the reason
They have a good market there.
They have a good market there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing why I like them specifically is that they're innovating. Not innovating, like they have so one of the things that I miss about India is street food. The people know about the butter chicken and they know about the naan.
Yep.
That's it. They don't know about the American Indian breakfast. Indian breakfast is my fucking favorite thing in the world.
Wow.
I cannot live without an Indian breakfast, and that's the reason why I'm fat. And I try to blame the craft beer and drinking, but it's an Indian breakfast. Indian breakfast, you have that once, you will fall in love. The parantes, that's what they call them, and you have those things. Those are like just amazing.
So do you make those at home?
Yeah, we make those at home because no Indian restaurant even serves it. So Refuge does.
You
And Yuba City.
Between you, your wife, mom, and dad, who's the best cook?
My mom.
Okay.
My mom, definitely. And my wife is really good, but actually my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, Sonny, I don't know why he doesn't open up a restaurant. Like, dude, that guy is freaking phenomenal. Like, he is probably the best chef I've ever, he makes anything.
I'm going to come up with an idea right now. Maybe you've already had this idea, but this is the idea. Let's get together. Let's cultivate a special club.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know the name of it. Let's get like 20, 30 people, right? Everyone brings their favorite bottle of choice. We have it at like your house.
Yeah.
And you get the brother, he cooks all the Indian food. We show up, we eat Indian food,
Dude,
we
let's do
drink.
it.
That sounds
I'm 100% down. Let's
amazing.
go. Let's go. And like that's the thing is, and like the other Indian street food, like you go on TikToks and Instagram, there's just so much population in India and China, so they keep on floating into like the Western culture because they're getting so many views. And when you look through this, like the Indian street food is huge. Nobody's making it.
Yeah.
Nobody's making it. This is the only place in Yuba City, and there's few places in Folsom that make it. But there's so much to Indian food than just butter chicken and naan. And that's something that you don't find here, but you do find it in Bay Area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other big thing is just like getting the younger crowd to eat it, the younger kids. Why is there no butter chicken? Like, why is there no spicy chicken sandwich dipped in butter chicken sauce?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like, it's just things like that. Like, you can put it on a freaking sandwich.
So how many? Because this is something that I was wanting to ask. Because like Buddy is a distributor, right?
Yeah, he became a Buddy and we were actually going to open up a bar, Cane and Grain, whiskey and rum.
Nice.
But we didn't end up going through with that project, and Buddy is now a distributor. Maybe we'll come back to it another time in the future.
Is he a client of yours, or
He's a client of mine and a really good best friend, so he's a good buddy.
So how many distributors do you have that you work with for Rocco?
There's a lot.
There's
a lot.
Because there's a distributor for every little thing, right?
It's consolidated for a lot of the main brands, but that's the thing is like I'm never gonna make money off the main brands. Like another thing is like if I keep on selling Jameson, it's everywhere, and I'm not gonna make profit, and they're gonna make me buy 1,000 cases to even get the discount, and now 1,000 cases is gonna take me a whole year to sell through. I'm not gonna make my money, but can I educate people about the alternatives?
Yep.
There are other Irish whiskeys out there. That's what I go out there and do. can I teach people about that? And then those guys are with smaller distributors. Like, for example, right now, a bourbon that we just launched in California, Old Louisville. I was the first guy to get a barrel pick from him. In September, I got it. We launched it, and then he was like, all right, now I'm ready to enter California. We went through a small distributor that's based out of Lincoln, Coolier Barnett. Went through him, and he distributed it all over California, but we kept it small. We kept it nice, and like it's just he's launching his brand. Those kind of brands, they don't get enough money because he only dumps 10 barrels every quarter, 10 to 20 barrels every quarter. And he's only getting about somewhere from, 186 packs to 306 packs every quarter. And that's all he's selling.
Wow.
So going with big guys like Southern, it doesn't work out. But for my shop, where it's become unique is I got the stuff. If it's hard to find, if it's a hard to find Amaro, if it's a hard to find mezcal, if it's hard to find tequila, if it's a hard to find rum or whiskey, I'm the only guy who got it until you go to Bitters and Bottle or K&L.
Yeah.
In San
Is
Francisco.
that because you've made the connection with that distributor? Is that how you get it?
It's because knowing people like Drew Garrison, knowing people like Jake, who have introduced me to these different people. So, for example, the biggest tequila selection is not even through Southern and RNDC. It's through Winebow. And that's a distributor that nobody even knows locally. None of the liquor stores will know. You walk into any liquor store, I guarantee you, out of 10 liquor stores will say, I don't know who the heck Winebow is. But those are the guys that are selling art they know.
Interesting. Because you were like, you said something earlier, and you're like, yeah, we all sell the same stuff, but that's not necessarily true.
It's not necessarily true.
Like,
but,
if I want to get Arte Gnome, so far, and I'm still kind of new on my journey, I've only found it at 2 places in Sacramento. Maybe it exists at maybe a couple more, but I found it at your shop, and I found it at Cordy Brothers. Yeah, Cordy Brothers actually has a pretty decent selection of stuff.
Cordy Brother is amazing. Cordy Brother is the original guys that started this whole craft thing in Sacramento. And speaking of Pappy Van Winkle, they're the only people in this whole entire country, I think, that got the Pappy Van Winkle barrel pick. That barrel pick is unheard of. I think he still has bottles, and I think last time I saw it on Facebook, it was during COVID. I think they sold a bottle to somebody in Washington, D.C. for like $45,000 for a bottle that he bottled in 2000 that he was selling on the shelf for $100. He sold it for $45,000 or something. Or somebody had it and they sold it for $45,000 because that barrel pick is just non-existence. But Cordy Brothers is the guys that they started it. A lot of wine, a lot of Amaros. I take inspiration from them all the time, and they have some of the best sandwiches. I love going in there.
Great sandwich. And by the way, man, shout out to freaking Cordy Brothers for their wine. Because
their wine is amazing.
If you want, like last night, I had my buddy over, and he brought over a couple bottles of wine, and one of them was this like incredible Sauv Blanc, and I'm like, dude, this is insane good. He's like, Cordy Brothers, $12. Like you would just never know. Like you can spend $150 on a bottle of wine at Cordy Brothers, but what I'm trying to say is like if you go to Cordy Brothers and you really want to buy some good wine, just meet with the wine guy there. I know they have a couple of them, but they're doing it right. Coach Pop, this is a fun story. Popovich, the coach for the Spurs, every time that he comes to Sacramento, he always goes to Cordy Brothers.
Really?
And he'll buy wine, he'll buy some sandwiches, and then he'll end up taking all of his coaches and some of the players to like Ella, and he'll just pop open the wine that he got at Cordy Brothers.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Big time.
See, it's a way to travel the world. Like you had this wine. Like where'd you say it was from?
The Sauv Blanc.
Sauv Blanc.
Well, it was from France.
From France, yeah. So like that, you get to learn about it.
Yeah,
what people are drinking over there.
Yep.
And that's the amazing thing is just that there's just so many distributors. And the reason why I was saying is so like one of the things that happens in the industry is like why everybody has the same product. So like let's say if I post Amaros, everybody will start getting those Amaros.
Yeah.
So like the kind of like in the industry, what I built is I've had distributors. They're like, hey, I know you're not buying this thing, but can you make an Instagram post for me? So I can go to other liquor stores and be like, hey, look, Rocco bought this and he sells a lot of this. Can you buy it too? And they're like, oh yeah, we'll buy it. It's crazy. Even with the barrel picks, like barrel picks, like it was a whole thing. Like not a lot of nobody did it till 2016, other than just Nugget and Total Wines. I was the first one to start doing these private barrel picks in an independent liquor store. And then after that, now a lot of liquor stores have a barrel pick. And even with the barrel pick, like when they bring us the kits, when I can't travel, they bring us the kit, they'll give us 3 samples, and they're like, taste it. So when they give me the kit, they leave the 3 samples with me. these sales reps, they're like, oh, why are we leaving the 3 samples with these guys? We get it. Road understands the program. These other liquor stores don't.
Yeah.
And what they started doing is they're like, okay, hey, here's a 3-pack. We start out at the liquor store A. Hey, pick one. This is what you want the barrel pick that Roco got. This is how it gets it.
Yeah.
Pick one out of these 3. They're like, all right, you picked these. You discarded the other 2. All right, let's go to the liquor store right down the street. Hey, you wanted the Roco barrel?
Yeah.
This is how you got it. Hey, pick one out of these 2. There you go. And then they go to the 3rd liquor store. Hey, I don't even have a place for you to pick it, but this is what Ro picks. You want to pick that? And they're like, yep, I'll pick it. So I'm like, all right, you literally just got everybody's discarded barrel.
That's hilarious.
So that's the kind of shit, like, it's like you do it in the industry, but then, like, there's people that will come and follow and they'll start copying.
Yeah.
And they'll have the same thing. So, like, people don't realize how much Arthanome I actually sell. It's crazy. Once because I'm constantly sold out.
Yeah.
I literally just placed an order for like 20 cases and people don't understand how much I sell. Once they realize it, that I sell that, they will start buying it. So then you'll start seeing it everywhere. But like, I've literally had reps and I'm like, what are you doing for me? Are you paying me for this? I'm like, you're buying lunch then.
Yeah.
If I'm making a post, because I'm not even carrying it, I'm like, you're buying me lunch.
Yeah.
Or I'm getting that bottle for free if you're making me post about it.
So does barrel picking mean anytime you mention barrel picking, does that mean, like you mentioned Cordy Brothers had the barrel pick, does that mean that they had to go to the distillery in order for that connection to happen?
I think Cordy Brothers has a name, and they probably met, like, the connections happen at your shop, right? Like, these reps are, like, going out there, they're being your advocates internally to these, distilleries, right? Hey, you got to go to Cordy Brothers. They have such an amazing palate. In certain cases, we do travel. In some cases, we can't travel. Then they'll come to us. Yeah.
So you can get a barrel pick that you didn't have to physically go there, but you still got it.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
All the time. We actually had, like, a brand that's really popular right now. They have a tequila and a whiskey brand. Is called Rare Character, and the tequila brand is called Paladar. Another common thing that people might not know in this industry is independent bottling or independent bottlers. Like, there's not that many distilleries. People go out there and buy these. So 80% of a lot of the whiskey that you see on the shelf, it's all bought from MGP. So you're not even buying a product of that own distillery. So, for example, J.J. Pfister, like J.J. Pfister, as they're getting their whiskey business going, as they're getting their whiskey ready and they're distilling it and they're aging it, they went out and bought MGP barrels and they're selling those MGP barrels. So they go out there, either tell them the recipe or they just go buy the barrels from these brokers. So same thing with the Rare Character. Rare Character is going out there and buying these all barrels that are just sitting in Kentucky, Indiana, anywhere. And then same thing with the tequila. I got a barrel pick coming out. You got to see this bottle label because we put the R Street Bridge. Is it R Street? K Street Bridge.
You're talking about the Tower Bridge?
The Tower Bridge.
Okay.
Fuck. You forgot the Tower Bridge. Come on. So the Tower Bridge. So we put the Tower Bridge on there, and it's Arate Tequila. Arate Tequila is right next door to Fortaleza. Amazing tequila, but it's under a different brand called Paladar. So he's just going out there. Pete's just going out there. He's sourcing the tequila from them, putting it in his own brand and own label, and bringing it to America and selling it. That way, he doesn't have to have the cost of owning the distillery.
Yeah.
Now he only has the cost of marketing and the labels and the bottle.
Arate, I think I was mispronouncing. Is it the Arete or something?
Arete, yeah, that's it. Arate, yeah.
That stuff's good.
Yeah, that stuff is amazing. The tequila is amazing. I got to show you guys the bottle after the label of the bottle after this.
Yeah.
It's so Sacramento, and like these guys will do custom labels. So Pete was just here on Monday, and he flew in Sunday, and and then there's a whole thing about if you like this person. I'm a big believer in that. If you're friends with somebody, they're going to give you the honey barrels or not. So Pete goes, hey, I'm in Sacramento. I'm doing a ride along on Monday. I'm like, dude, my Monday's packed. I don't think I can see you till like 4 o'clock. He's like, by that time, all the good barrels are going to be gone. I want you to pick a good barrel. He's like, it's Sunday. Can you meet me? I'm like, dude, it's Mother's Day. I take my wife out, my mom out, and my mother-in-law out. So I'm like, I can't meet you. He's like, dude, I'll meet you whatever time, but I want you guys to pick the good barrels first.
Is dope.
Yeah, so he's like, I want you guys to make the first barrel picks because we're picking 3. He's like, I'm only bringing 6 to Sacramento. I want you guys to pick the 3, like the good ones that you like. I want you guys to have the first preference. I'm all right, meet me at the shop at 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
And we're going to have 15 minutes. My wife's going to get mad. We're going to have 15 minutes. I'll get the guys that want to pick with us.
Yeah.
They'll come out, meet us, and we'll pick a barrel. And we literally just did that. In 15 minutes, we picked it. We picked out 3 different barrels, and we got it. And the next day, he's up. You guys did so good. The other 3 samples, they were good whiskeys, but I think you guys got the better whiskey. I'm like, hell yeah. There you go.
So when will that be in bottled and available
Probably
to purchase?
Christmas or like into January next year.
So that's how long that whole process takes.
Yeah, it's a long process to just get those bottles. But I want to have you guys tequila. We'll go do it in Mexico. But before that, I want to have you guys experience this. We pick a lot of whiskey barrels, not as many tequila barrels. Here, just because tequila, they're still trying to figure out how to get the samples. The barrel program in the tequila world is very new. Like even with Jake, I want to do my own batch, like with Artenom. I want to have my own Artenom with Jake.
God,
Jake, if things like that. Like
Jake, come on. Shout out Jake. I mean, man, I would love if we do this Mexico trip with you. If we can bring Jake with us too.
Oh, I would love to go there with Jake, and then that's it. So like with whiskey, I want to get you guys to do a whiskey barrel pick. I'll see what's on the docket and what's coming in. And I'll let you guys know and have you guys come in and look at the experience that we'll do locally and how we pick the whiskey. Or actually, I got a better one. June 22nd. What are you guys doing?
I don't know if I'm in town.
It's a Saturday. We're going up to Frey Ranch. Frey Ranch is a whiskey.
Damn.
They are the most popular whiskey, and they were part of the Sacramento Farm to Fork. They're not in California, but they're in a 300-mile radius. Like they're in Nevada. They're in Fallon, Nevada. Super awesome people, Colby and Ashley. We're trying to go there on June 22nd to pick a barrel. And you got to go look at this American history. They've owned this ranch since the 1800s, and they have it documented. They have pictures, and they've been there.
Dang.
Like 1851.
Where's it at?
It's Fallon, Nevada.
Oh wow, I'm free.
Yeah, dude. And we'll drive up there.
Yeah.
We'll drive up there, and we'll go pick a barrel. And if you guys want to go live on the podcast up there, you guys can. But you definitely should follow Frey Ranch. It's dope. Amazing. They have come to the market and they've proven to people that you can have a 4-year-old whiskey, a craft whiskey that tastes amazing.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the most phenomenal products. What I'm going to do is tomorrow when you come by the shop, I'll get you guys a couple bottles of the Frey Ranch. You guys got a lot of tequila, but I'll get you some good tequila barrel picks too that I got. But I'll get you guys some Frey Ranch bottles tomorrow that you guys got to bring it over here and try some of this whiskey. Get ready for June 22nd. But that experience is even better because they'll have a room ready. I don't know, because I've been there so many times. Colby and Ashley try to do a different experience for us all the time.
Yeah.
So we might go out there and thieve the whiskeys, but we'll let you guys try that experience. You guys got to go June 22nd.
I'm literally putting in the calendar right now, I'm gonna imagine like we're staying out there.
We'll stay the night out there and come back on Sunday morning.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
By the way, one of our good friends, I know you might know the name, but I know that he's in one of your clubs because he's a whiskey aficionado. Like the dude is. Do you know Tom Good?
Yeah, Tom Good is a great friend.
Yep.
So Tom and Clay, I just actually did a dinner. So like I don't get a lot of nights away from the
Cannon.
family. Yeah, at Cannon. So I was at that dinner. We did a Weller dinner, and that was like one of those like weird nights, like from family. The wife's not home, and then the kids are not there. That's when the old rope comes out. Like I literally did so many freaking things that day. It was crazy. I went to like a Cinco de Mayo party before that. Ran the whole dinner with Tom. Did the whole Weller presentation with Clay and everything. Had a dinner. Went back to like a house party. Had a couple shots there. Took an Uber back downtown to Sacramento and got a bottle service at the park. And I'm like, shit. And my wife saw, how many different places are you gonna go tonight? I haven't been out forever, so it's like.
Oh man.
Let's transition then. Let's wrap this. This has been amazing, bro.
Yeah, seriously.
Man, you're just like a wealth of freaking
Man.
knowledge. Man.
I love it.
So let's hit them. This is going to be tough for you, I know, because you're a foodie. Give us your top 5 restaurants in Sacramento.
Could it be surrounding areas like Davis too?
It can be Tri-County.
Tri-County's okay. So Davis, I want to go give a shout out to Burma Eats over there. The lamb over there is freaking phenomenal. And the paratha that they have over there, I think they're opening one up in downtown. Right next to where P.F. Chang used to be. That's where they're going in.
Burma Eat, is that like Indian?
No, it's Burmese food. It's like a little bit up like by Nepal, like there. Like it's like a whole separate thing. But dude, you got to go over there and get the lamb. And they have the fresh coconut. I don't know if you like fresh coconut water.
I love it.
I love fresh coconut. So Burma Eats. That's one. That's my birthday pick. That's where I want to go eat all the time for my birthday.
Hell yeah.
Tres Hermanas all the time.
Yep.
Camden, just because Camden, they have their regular menu, but their specialty menus are just amazing. And then we do a lot of our whiskey dinners there.
Yep.
Chef Oliver just kills it, dude.
He's the best.
He
I
kills
love
it.
Oliver.
I love Chef Oliver. Like we did a dinner for our like millionaires club. So I have a millionaire club. To get into a millionaire club, it's no membership, but you gotta commit to buying at least a bottle worth $5,000 every quarter. So then we did a millionaires club dinner last year, and it was a ticketed event. It was $1,000 ticket. We packed it wasn't packed, like we did a 20 people dinner.
Yeah.
So 20 millionaires out of Sacramento area that came out, and Chef Oliver prepared this meal that was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. We had master blender, Rebecca. She flew in from England for this dinner. And
No idea that Oliver was doing stuff like this. Though.
yeah,
Oliver is the
Chef
man.
Oliver just kills it, dude. And even, dude, the cocktails over there the other day, we had this cocktail for our Penelope dinner. They use these tobacco bitters. I've been on a hunt for these tobacco bitters. I don't even know who sells them. I posted it on my Facebook yesterday, and now I got some couple hits, and I'm like, I got to get this tobacco bitter and make this cocktail at home.
Yeah.
Do you sell bitters at your
I
spot?
do. I do. I got all the bitters. I got all the Amaros. I got everything. So, yeah. So, Burma Eats, Tres Hermanos, always. It's a classic. The third is Chef Oliver. And then fourth and fifth, man, those are a little bit tougher. Crew for fourth.
Yes, sir.
Gotta
That
have
is going
crew
like
in the
crew.
top
Gotta
five.
have crew, man. That, like, you know, and so I never used to like sushi. I never
Really?
liked sushi till I met my wife. And then she started introducing me to like sushi, and Crew is one of the first spots. And I think Crew is something that we cannot live without. We
No.
go to Crew at least twice
Absolutely not.
or 3 times a month. And then now they have Jose, their bartender, their bar manager. Dude, that guy is an absolute genius. I know Trevor at Snug is an awesome guy with the bar scene, but like, you know, Jose, dude, another local guy, he just absolutely kills it with that bar program. That bar program is amazing. Those cocktails are just amazing, and that Japanese whiskey collection that he has,
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Now, speaking of mezcal, Jose and Billy went out to Mexico and picked up Pachuga, La Luna Mezcal, and they are selling that bottle at Crew. It is the best mezcal that I have tasted in 2024, and it's only like, I think, $40-50. Like, it's only $40-50, and here's the thing, my dumbass forgot what it was with, but it's an ingredient that made it with that's very common in making some of those Japanese like sauces. Like I forget the name of it. Like I'm very drunk when I'm in there.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm like, you know, Jose gets me like, you know, shots,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're like doing mezcal shots, all these things, and they have a phenomenal mezcal selection. But you got to go out there and get that Crew La Luna mezcal that they have right now. Jose and Billy picked that. That thing is amazing. And then the fifth spot in the region,
Let me help you, because if you don't put this in your top 5, have you been to Bincho Yaki?
I have not. I
Gotta
have
go.
not. I have got to go, but I would pick a fifth spot. I'm gonna go with Farmhouse in Granite Bay.
Never been.
Never been either.
Farmhouse, because or actually, Josephine's could be up there too.
Josephine's is
amazing.
fire.
I would say Josephine. Like, I don't know why I didn't pick it in the fifth, but like, let's go ahead and highlight the Farmhouse in the 5, because Farmhouse. When my wife was in labor, we were at the Kaiser off of Douglas Boulevard. They're right there. And they have the best steak, because one of the things in Sacramento I think that lacks is like, we don't have good steakhouses other than I think Camden or Crew. I find a good steak in Camden whenever Chef Oliver's making it. But, you know, like Morton's, I don't like going to Morton's.
Yeah.
I don't like going to Echo and Rig. I don't like going to, like, you know, Ruth Chris. I wanna
Echo
go
and
to
Rig is just not it for me.
Yeah.
If I want to get a steak, though, I will tell you, I'm never disappointed when I go to Ella.
Ella's great.
Ella's good.
But Ella, like, I've done it so many times. So I'm
Yeah.
like, this Farmhouse, like, they don't have a liquor license. They have amazing wine selection. It's a hidden house right off of Douglas Boulevard. And they have an amazing tiny little place. It's as big as this.
Yeah.
Room, like, it's tiny little place, and the chefs working there, best steak sandwiches we would ever get. Like, wife is in labor,
Damn.
I'm literally just driving around on Douglas Boulevard. It's like the longest labor, and I'm just like going to different places, and she can't eat any of this food, and I'm just bringing all this food, and I'm just starting chowing down. Once you deliver, you gotta have the steak sandwich, and I gave it to her, and she loved it. So that's a good place. But Josephine is become my date night, because I've done everything in Sacramento. Laura, Locala's kitchen, everywhere. Ella,
Yeah.
I got to go somewhere else, and Josephine's amazing. Their desserts are
Man, great list.
Put Bincho Yaki on your list. That's like the restaurant that all the chefs in Sacramento go to eat. Another one that I tried that I'm like big on, I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's the new omakase sushi spot. phenomenal.
I have not been there, but everybody's been posting about it, and I'm going to go. Yeah.
Yeah, they only do omakase, I think, 2 days a week. The other 5 days that they're open, you just walk in and you can still order a bunch of stuff that they would normally do on the omakase. It's phenomenal. So,
Dude, the Taiwan Best Mart, because it's right next to Benchanaki, right? Taiwan Best Mart.
is that where the mucho? Have you heard? Have you seen
Mucho sandwich is right there too. I think they're all right there. I've never been there, but Taiwan Best Mart, they have the weirdest schedule. But one of the Whiskey Society members, one day they were just coming to the tap room to pick up the order on a Saturday that they placed, and they were like, "Hey, Rode, have you ate lunch yet?" I'm like, "No," and they're like, "We're gonna bring you some food," and they brought this food from Taiwan Best Mart, and it's like a traditional Taiwanese food inside of a Taiwanese grocery store. You go follow their page; it's amazing, and I think it's right next to Benchanaki and like the sandwich spot.
Mucho, yeah.
Mucho, and I actually tried their sandwiches too. They're amazing.
Haven't tried the mucho yet, but their social media is dope, and their fish sandwiches look crazy good.
Yeah, their egg salad sandwich is phenomenal.
Damn,
it's good, and but yeah, so like Taiwan Best Mart, dude, their schedule just doesn't mix out.
Yeah.
Like like right now, like I'm gonna be like, okay, I want to grit that right now to go on my way back, and they're not gonna be open.
Yeah.
Damn. Top 5 in no order. Some of your favorite musical artists.
That one's a little bit tough for me.
Okay.
So the reason why I'll tell you that's where the culture part that missed for me is when I came over here. I was like 12 years old, and I was just like didn't really like get into didn't have friends like the first few years of my life, right? And I just got so busy in working. From the age of 12 at the shop and like all that stuff, like just got so busy. So a lot of Indian artists on there. And then definitely Tupac, you went through the little gangster phase, like in high school, so Tupac was great. And then Tupac. And then one of the Punjabi artists that's been really getting popular in the main street is Diljit Dosanjh. So he's been touring. He was at Coachella. And he's actually a guy with a turban, so he's breaking these norms that, hey, you could be a turban guy and you're out there and you should listen to his music. So predominantly, I just listen to Punjabi music and like a lot of
Rene's
Indian music.
huge on Punjabi music.
Yeah.
Huge.
So Diljit Dosanjh, I don't know if you know, you gotta. It's crazy, and then he's been performing, and he actually had a concert out in Oakland, and he's selling out. So if you follow the guy, you search the guy's name, and he's been breaking records. He's been doing what Taylor Swift has been doing.
Damn.
But just for Indian world, he sold out the Vancouver Stadium just recently, and that's only been done by Taylor Swift.
That's wild.
He's the second artist to do that.
Crazy.
So it was like, oh wow, so I would say that. And then what's it called? And I'm horrible with names, with especially a lot of the American artists.
You got Tupac. I mean, that's
Tupac. Yeah, I got Tupac, and then Kanye. I like Kanye.
Okay.
Kanye and what's it called? Drake started from the bottom. That's it.
And now we're here.
I love singing that song with an Indian accent all the time. That's my karaoke song.
That's great. Oh man. All right.
And the fifth one, I would just say some of this Latin music, man. I would say what's it called? Pitbull.
Okay.
Yeah, Pitbull right there.
Can't go wrong with him, man. Oh, that's great. All right, if you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
My grandpa. My grandpa. He was back then. I was very young. He was a very educated man. In India, there's educated. My dad's not an educated man. And
your dad's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my grandpa was very educated.
Yeah.
For his time, I wish I was adult enough before he passed away.
Yeah.
That I could have had some conversation. He was probably one of the smartest people that I've ever known. I just wish that we could have had more of a business conversation, more of the conversation about life right now. From a man that was that educated and spoke I think he spoke 50 different languages. He traveled the world, and during those times, so I wish I had more time with him.
Yeah, amazing. Last but not least, what does leaving a legacy mean to you?
Legacy means to me is just doing good, right? Leave this place, everybody say, leave this place better, right? Get my boys into things. I want to, wealth is one thing, but also build that character for the boys. I want to have it where, my parents, raising kids in America was different because they didn't know what to think of it. And like I'm also like one of the first guys that like started drinking in my family and started like going out as much as like things like that, like with my immediate family. So with that being said, like like I think like I wish my parents had a little bit more trust in me, and I think that's what I want to do is like if you build your kid's character and you build them the right way, like you teach them the right things, at some point you got to just let them go out there and build it. And the biggest legacy for me is I got 2 boys. I can't wait. Like my 6-year-old's starting to get older, and I want to start a business with him because all my life, since the age of 12, all I known is business.
Yeah.
I don't know music. I don't know sports. I don't know anything else. I know spirits, but I know about business. I like reading about businesses. I like reading about failed businesses. I like looking at real estate. I like looking at every business.
Yeah.
And seeing what I could have done different, what that person should do different. But I want to do that with my boy.
Yeah.
And he's 6 years old and he wants to start a YouTube channel. Let's start a YouTube channel. Let's do these things. And that's what I'm looking forward to is building that character in my boys and building that legacy through them. Like I want them to go out there, get education. I want them to be doctors or engineers or lawyers, whatever. But I want them to remember me by the business side of it.
Yeah.
I want to put that business thing in them. My boy wants to be a scientist, he wants to be a mad scientist right now. He's only 6 years old, right? I don't know what he's going to be, or he wants to be a cop. I'm like, even if you're a cop or a mad scientist one day, but I still want you to own businesses. I want you to own things. I want you to own real estate. I want you to own land. I want you to go into different things. And that's the biggest thing I want to leave behind is just building something with my boys.
That is dope.
Mic drop, man. It's been freaking amazing having you here, man. Just seriously,
Appreciate you, man.
We're gonna chop up some incredible reels from this podcast. Hopefully, you can feature them on your page.
Tag me as a collaborator on them, and then we'll share
all
them.
day.
100%, man. All right,
Great stuff.
23.
We out.
We out.